Fingers crossed. Hopefully you've done it, guys. Let's hope we've got... So we're just waiting, hopefully, for Danny and Ruben to come on. So I do apologise, guys. I should stick to my goalkeeping coaching. So while we're waiting for Danny, it's still a couple of minutes before we go live, guys. I can see there's a few people already on. So let's just have some comments. Obviously in the comments box, to make sure that you can see my big fat head. That'd be cool. So we got hi Brinnery. Hopefully I've done that correctly. Brinnery, cool. Brinnery Dodd's here. Carl Steele's here. Samara's here. Craig, you okay, Craig? Dan's here. Sally's here, which is cool. So Danny's here. So I've obviously done something wrong here, guys. So just bear with me. Technology. This is super frustrating. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Ruben. So, Danny, Ruben, can you hear me? I think you can. Crop layout press. Shift and 2. Shift plus 2. Ah, it's ridiculous, this. Okay, sorry about this, Dan. Sorry about this, Ruben. Mark Nibs is here. Hi, Mark. Hi, Ronnie. I do apologise. For some reason, it's not Danny and Ruben's fault. It's my fault. Just trying to... Solo layout. Okay. Shift. So what's the shift key? No idea. Sorry, guys. Do apologise. Please bear with me. I'm actually YouTubing this now, believe it or not. So please bear with me, Danny, Ruben. Okay.
I taught my client Summer here how to use webinars to generate clients online.
So, okay.
In 60 days, she was doing $20,000 a day.
Let me walk you through to know and how to...
So believe it or not, guys, I'm actually on YouTube on this.
Now is a link that you can then add then. They click on show advanced, they can choose the camera resolution. That will work.
So guys, I'm just on YouTube now trying to figure out how to bring Danny and Ruben on. Please bear with me. Do apologise.
You'll be able to see them in the bottom here, but they won't actually be part of the stream until you literally click on them and add them to the stream. So I'm going to add myself to the stream, and then I'm going to add my guest to the stream.
Okay, I think what might have happened, Danny, I think you might have clicked the guest, because you might have clicked the attendee link. You need to click the guest link, Danny. So just please bear with me, Dan. 1 sec. Okay. The wonders of live TV. Okay, 1 sec. So fingers crossed, Dan. I'm going to email you now, Danny. Okay, so it's going to say something. Add intended share. Okay. Okay, so Danny, I'm going to email you a link. Oh, 1 sec. That's the link. Bear with us. Come on. Sorry, guys. So, Danny, I'm going to email you a link as an attendee. I think you might have clicked the link as a guest. I'm hoping that's what it is. Okay, invite guests. Okay, so Danny, I've just sent you a link. So, guys, if you're listening to this on social media, if you're watching this on Facebook or whatever, please bear with me. We're having a bit of this is the first time we've used this software, so we're just having a bit of technical difficulties, shall we say? Okay, so fingers crossed. Hopefully, or check out for an email, please, Dan. So I'm hoping that's what it is. Okay, yeah, just keep looking, Dan. Hopefully, there should be an email on the way to you. Going to send another email now. Okay, if you can just please check your email, Dan. I'm hoping that's what the issue is because these two emails go out. One email is to invite people to come in, watch the show as an attendee, and then obviously you're a guest. So I'm hoping if you click that guest link, that your details will come through, and then I can add you and Ruben on. So while I'm doing this, okay, we've got Claire Atkins. Hi, Claire. Hi, Harry. Hope you're okay. It's Harry Atkins' dad. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming on. I do apologise about the delay. We're having a bit of this is the first time we've used this software. So that's the beauty about going live. So, one sec. Yep. So, guys, while I'm just waiting for Danny, what was it? Clark. Sorry, Clark. What was it? Under a bit of pressure here, trying to get this live. Yep, just bear with us. So, guys, if anyone's watching this, anyone watching this live, and you're on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, if you want to put a question in the comments box while we're waiting, obviously for Danny and Ruben to come through, that'll be cool. Hey, we got Roy here from Canada. You okay, Roy? Hope the snow hasn't arrived yet in Canada. Hope you're all good there in Ontario. So we're just waiting for Danny and Ruben. Okay, so Joan just asked a fabulous question. Okay, brilliant. Ruben and Danny's here, guys. Joan, I'll answer your question in a moment. One sec. Fingers crossed. Let's see if we get them in. Here they are, guys.
Hey.
Technology, hey, technology. So, Danny boy, Ruben, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Fantastic. So, what was it? So, I do apologise, Danny, Ruben. It's the first time I've used this software, so you probably would have got sent a load of emails from myself. So, again, for you guys who've been waiting patiently, obviously for me, again, I'll stick to my goalkeeping coaching, guys, not technology. Massive welcome, massive thank you for being patient. Obviously, Danny and Ruben are now with us. This is actually the very first time we've done a live webinar like this, and how it's going to work. Okay, I'm going to introduce Danny and Ruben in a moment. So again, as I say, just before we get going, Ruben, you've got some dirt there on your shirt. So as I say, guys, so these two, obviously we've got Danny and Ruben who are live. Okay, you're obviously the guest, and then we've got attendees listening all over the world. So Ruben, you're going to be a superstar, young man. Okay, we've got people from all over the UK. We've got Roy from Canada. Actually, guys, before I introduce Danny and Ruben, for you guys who are listening live, can you please say a big, massive hello to Danny and Ruben? Obviously, thank them for being on. And can you just please let me, Dan and Ruben, can you just let us know where you are in the world? That'd be much appreciated.
And then, we're in Hull at the moment, East Yorkshire.
Okay, fantastic, brilliant. So, what's the weather like there? Is it? Hopefully, it's for England.
It's dark, wet, miserable.
Dear me, so that can be anywhere in England. Yeah. So what we're going to do here, Dan, Ruben, I'm just, I don't think you can see, but on the right-hand side of my screen, I've got loads of questions coming in. Okay, so these people from all over the world. So Ruben, these people from all over the world who are listening to from your amazing advice. We've got John Fleming from Ireland. We've got Roy from Canada. Thanks, guys. What was it? We've got Helen Croton from Bedfordshire. We've got Denton from Cape Town in South Africa, Ruben. So your advice is going to be going as far as South Africa, believe it or not. We've got Michelle Muir. Guys, I'm a Scouser, so if I don't pronounce your name correctly, I apologise in advance. So we've got Michelle from Kent, Mark Nibbs from Essex. We've got Grandad from Ireland. So I don't know if that's your Grandad. It's Aisling Bolger. Is that your Grandad?
Grandad from Ireland.
Okay, just be Grandad then. Okay, we've got hi Dan and Rubes. We've got Kelly Hopewell, also from Hull.
Her daughter plays in our football team.
All right, cool, fantastic. We've got Yvette from London, Ruben. So brilliant, guys. So I'm going to get into this now. So for you guys who are asking questions, okay, yeah, please leave your questions until the end. You will get an opportunity to ask Dan and Ruben your questions, guys. Okay, yeah. So please leave it at the end, because now, as I said, I'm going to now introduce Dan and Ruben, and then obviously they can introduce themselves. And hopefully, you guys who are listening to Dan and Ruben, you're going to be hopefully listening with your goalkeeping child, because the reason we're doing this webinar, obviously, is to share Dan and Ruben's story as a father and son as they navigate towards, obviously, as they navigate their goalkeeping journey. So I'm sure Ruben and Dan are going to give some fantastic tips. So again, as I say, so first of all, Ruben, Dan, I want to say a massive thank you on behalf of, obviously, Just for Keepers J4K, and also parents and goalkeepers all over the world and who are listening live today. So again, I know you've already briefly introduced yourself, Dan, Ruben, but can you just please introduce yourself, where you're from? Can you explain again who you play for? How old are you, Ruben? How long you played in goal? So, Dan, Ruben, it's your floor. Off you go.
Well, you go first, or you?
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm. Cheers, mate. I'm Dan, Ruben's dad, and Ruben's coach. We've been coaching, haven't we? Ruben's 8 now, so at the age of 5, Ruben started playing football. Play for Heading Rangers, don't you?
Yeah.
So then, over to you.
I'm Ruben, and my dad is my coach for Heading Rangers. I'm 8 years old, and
You love in goal, don't you?
yeah.
He loves it in goal.
So what's the word I'm looking for? What inspired you to play in goal, Ruben?
So the reason why I wanted to go in goal was because our keen keeper left our football teams, so then all of our team had to take turns in goal. So then I stepped up to playing goal.
Fantastic, brilliant. And how long have you supported Manchester City?
Ooh.
Not even for a second.
Okay, good. So, Dan, what was your thoughts as a parent when obviously Ruben decided he wanted to play in goal? Because again, I know there's a lot. Again, I know with you being a coach, it might not have been as bad for yourself. Again, there might be parents listening online where, again, they've got no idea about goalkeeping, and it's always a bit of a worry for when a parent hears that the goalkeeper, the child wants to play in goal, because obviously it's a thankless position, isn't it? They always get the blame, even though most of the time it's not. So, as a parent, what was your thoughts?
There's a bit of a story behind this. Rue initially started off as playing sports. He started playing rugby, and Kelly, who's listening now, she was part of the setup at Ruben's rugby team. He had no fear whatsoever. Loved diving about, loved it, didn't you? The rugby side of things. That side of it didn't bother me. It was more of if he was focused on being a keeper.
Okay.
And the night that we played a friendly and Ruben was in goal, and it was absolutely outstanding. And their coach on the other side came over to me and said he's been outstanding. That night, we had a decision to make before the season started about who wants to go in goal. And he was constantly nagging. He said, "Dad, I really want to do it. I want to be the team keeper." So I put it to a couple of lads that helped me and the team that Ruben plays for, and we all went for it. And to be honest with you, it's been quite overwhelming how well he's actually done.
Fantastic, brilliant. And what's your best memory so far, Ruben, of playing in goal?
He was captain, wasn't you?
When I turned into the captain.
Okay, so you're a goalkeeping captain as well. Fantastic. So you must be putting some amazing performances in, obviously, to get captain. And I'm guessing you're quite vocal on the field to be made captain.
Yeah.
So what we do when we do training, we do like a trainer of the week, but then who's been quite vocal in that training session, they'll become the team captain. So it gets shared about, but it's obviously an end reward. And you was that last week, weren't you?
Yes.
Fantastic, brilliant. And so that, and I think, to be honest with you as well, Dan, what again? Do you say that? Are you one of the co-manager of Ruben's team?
Yeah. So there's three of us that coach. Well, 4 of us. We're all involved, but I run the side. I do like all the admin side of things as well. So I've got like 3 of my mates that help me.
Brilliant. I mean, one of the things that you've just said there, Ruben's amazing. I think it's fantastic to give the players an opportunity to be the captain, because for me, so I've been doing just for keepers now for over 2 decades, and obviously we do goalkeeping coaching. So we've coached thousands upon. I've lost count how many goalkeepers we've helped over the years. It's thousands upon thousands. And but for me, my mission has always been to build the self-esteem and self-confidence of my students first, and then goalkeeping becomes sort of easy, really. Then. So I think what you've done is fantastic, because I think one of the biggest things that we need to do as coaches and parents as well is build a self-esteem and self-confidence in the mindset of our child, because if we can help them to become self-resilient and self-confident, that can, like, you know, especially as young goalkeepers, you know, obviously, you know, a lot of young goalkeepers get a lot of unfair, you know, stick. But if you can help, not just obviously goalkeepers, but the whole team in general. I think if you can help a child be confident, and that's something I'll go into as we go through this webinar. To me, I think that's like you can make them sort of bulletproof, if that makes sense, you know, by making them be self-confident. So I think that's actually something I've never heard of what you've done, by the way. I'm not saying other football teams are not doing it, but that's the first time I've heard a football team allowing the players, different players, to be captain. I think that's
it was an idea that we had amongst ourselves, and it was just trying to get, like you said then, it was trying to get each individual team, when they do play, it's just don't be afraid to be vocal, don't be afraid to, like, we've just gone to under 9, so obviously they are still really young, but it was just don't be afraid to tell your teammate, even at a young age, take some responsibility for it, or try and be vocal. Tell your teammates what to do. Like I've said to Rue, as a goalkeeper, and you'll know yourself, at the back there, you can see everything that goes on.
Yes.
So don't be afraid to start pulling your players about where you want them. And, you know, you did that training session, you did real well, didn't you?
Yeah.
So,
brilliant, yeah. But also as well, again, I'm a massive believer, Dan, as well. Is that when we do our coaching, it's about getting, like, even though they're only young, and doing it in a fun, not doing it in a strict way, not doing it serious, doing it in a fun, non-pressurized way. Is that if you can help your, like, as a parent, again, I know that you're doing this obviously for your team, which is brilliant, but if parents who are listening to this now could do something with their goalkeeping child, with what you're doing with obviously with Ruben, that helps them in life. And again, I know that they're only children, and you've got to keep them as children, and I'm all for that. But obviously, as parents, we're responsible to make sure that when our child is adult, you know, they get into adulthood, that they're ready for the real world. And I think, you know, by keeping it as fun as possible and just doing something what you're doing, Dan, I think is amazing, by just letting and encouraging the children just to be vocal and not be embarrassed to be vocal, because you know, unfortunately, a lot of the children, and again, I know all schools are not the same, but a lot of children, especially in schools, they're told, they sit down, be quiet, you know. Again, I'm not saying that's bad. I know obviously they've got to be disciplined in school, but I think sometimes, again, these children that are not brainwashed is the wrong word, but they're told too many times, be quiet, and I think, as I say, these times we've got to do that as coaches and parents. But I think, as I say, what we've got to do as well is we've got to inspire our children, you know, to be confident in themselves, as I say, you know, to be vocal without feeling embarrassed, you know, because that's why even adults, never mind children, most adults, they don't want to speak out because they're like, oh, I don't want to sound stupid. And that holds so many children back when you go into adulthood.
I think, like you said, it's letting them have that confidence and be free to speak their mind, especially on the football field. Because the club that Ruben plays for and our coach, when I played for him, I was captain, and it was a really proud moment for me to be captain. So I've kind of like expressed the experience onto Ru. I don't expect him to go around shouting like Roy Keane used to, or like your Steven Gerrard used to, but like I say, it's just giving them the opportunity to allow them to talk to each other, direct each other, and if that benefits the side in the longer run, then it's a bonus.
Well, honestly, I really think that is amazing, Dan. So I'm going to sort of change it a bit now, because I know over the years, and again, maybe Ruben might have had some experience with this as well. Over the years, pardon the cliche, but if I would have had £1 or $1 or €1 for every time a parent has approached me and said, Ray, you know, that their child is getting losing their confidence, maybe because of an egotistical coach, maybe because parents are shouting things on the line that are not positive. Maybe the players of the team are shouting things, especially when a goal goes in, like you say, because 99.9% of even coaches and the parents online, and especially the players, don't understand goalkeeping. When a goal goes in, because they don't understand why the goal goes in, they go, well, it's the goalkeeper's fault. Which is annoying, but we're never going to get away from that. So obviously, it sounds like a real positive environment that you and your coaches have created, which is
what you just said. Then, Ray, was I'll have to hold my hand up there at one point, because on Sunday I did kind of react a little bit to you, didn't I, when he let a goal in, and in my opinion, he could have done better, but because his standards have been like from here and shot himself up to there, kind of reacted in a way. It was only till my mate, who helps me coach, David, said, "Dan, just calm down." Yeah. But it was just that instant reaction of, I thought he could have done better, but then I had to apologise, didn't I?
But you know what, though? First of all, thank you for being honest and saying that most grown men will not will admit to that. I say so. Appreciate that you've said that. And again, if there's any fathers listening now, including myself, we've all done that ourselves. Dan, you know what I mean? Because we want that much for our children. Sometimes our mouth works faster than our brains, because we're there instinctively. And again, as I say, for any parents listening, I'm sure you're already, already sort of addressed this, but one of the things that, as parents, whether you're a mother or a father, a grandparents, etc., we've got to be the cheerleaders for our goalkeeping children, because, there's that many people. I'm not saying intentionally. Most of it is unintentionally, like other parents on the lines, or sometimes it could be a coach who's ignorant, etc. But there's too many people are ready to point the finger at our goalkeeping children. So as parents, we've got to be their cheerleader. So again, as I say, so for any parents listening, and again, I'm sure you know this, Dan. As I say, Denton from South Africa, Dana said, well done, Dan. Well done, Dan. Hats off. So obviously, because that really helps. And I think, for any parents, whether mother, father, grandparent, like I've already said, if your goalkeeping child, does something on the field, the first thing is I know it's our first instinct to go, but I think it's just like, take a breath, clap your hands, and just go, come on, Egg, don't worry, come on, you better. Give them encouragement. As I say, hey, come on, brilliant, don't worry, encouragement. And then, as I say, maybe at our half time, have a quiet word and say, listen, look, you should have had that, but don't worry, and at the end of the game, and this is what's important as well, at the end of the game, I'm not trying to plug me book here, guys. Again, if anyone actually wants the book, you can actually have a free copy. So I'm not trying to sell you the book. I've got a book there called The Ultimate Guide. Sorry, I forgot what it's called now. The Ultimate Guide for Parents and Goalkeepers. So if you want to, leave you a comment, and I'll in the comments box, and I'll send you a free copy. So I'm not trying to sell anything here, but what I mentioned in the book is that it's super important at the end of a game, if your goalkeeping child has made a mistake or they could have done better with something, is at the end, first of all, it's like, obviously, talk about the mistake, because you've got to, and then all of a sudden say, right, what do you think you could have done better? And once your goalkeeping child says, okay, this, and have a bit of a conversation, okay, maybe this, you forget about it. Or maybe in training, maybe, or when you get home and go to the local field, if you can try and reenact what happened. So obviously, your goalkeeping child sort of makes the save, if that makes sense. That's it. You forget about it then. Again, a lot of parents, have been guilty of this, and not too sure about yourself, Dan, where is that you'll just keep going on about it. Look, remember that mistake, don't do it again. And then even though that you're trying to help your goalkeeping child, guys, if you keep going on about that they'll get more and more worried. So after the game, you address it, and then you say to your child, hey, what do you think you should have done? And then between you go, that's what you should have done. And you forget about it.
But I was what I was quite bad at and I picked up on was when Ruben played outfield before he played in goal. As soon as we got into the car, I thought during that day that he could have done a hell of a lot better, or his energy levels was quite low. I used to address it the minute that we got into the car.
Okay.
But some of the podcasts that I listen to, like the FA website one, really good one. There's a coach cast podcast that I used to listen to. As soon as I read that advice, I listened to it. Was if I started addressing it into the car, and if Ruben was playing during the game, I didn't want him to start thinking, Christ, as soon as I get into the car, I'm going to get drilled here. And that's we stopped doing it, didn't we? It was just right. As soon as we got in the car, well done, mate. And then because we play on a Sunday, but we train on a Monday.
Okay.
So I used to use the training on the Monday and then talk about it then. Because I'd hate the fact that whilst Ruben was playing, that he was thinking already, as soon as I get into the car, and we're going to start getting. I didn't want him to stop, but obviously now he's a goalkeeper now, and I ain't had to do that. But I quickly learned by it. It wasn't very good. So the advice that I can give is leave it on the way home, leave it out of the car, and just try and think of the positive things that they've done during that game, and then pick up on it maybe a day or two later, like you say.
Brilliant, Dan. So again, for any mums and dads listening there, guys, I think that is an amazing tip by Dan. As I say, don't be don't be bringing up any mistakes in the car, because again, as I say, you took me back to when my father used to take me playing in goal, and he used to do exactly that. Now, obviously, looking back in hindsight, I realised he was trying to help me, but for me, the car was like a prison thing, and I can't escape. Yeah. I'm just going to be getting grilled. And again, I used to not want to get in the car with my dad. So any mums and dads listening, please do what Dan's just said. As I say, don't in the car, do it. Like I say, do it at another time. Just give as much positive feedback as you can. But a quick question for Ruben. Okay, I just got you there mid-swig. So, Ruben, what would you do? What advice can you give? Would you like to give? Sorry, for goalkeepers your age, so that they can enjoy. So, even if, let's say a goalkeeper your age, let's say they've made a mistake that could maybe cost a goal. What advice could you give, young man, to help young goalkeepers your age to bounce back and to obviously be positive?
I would probably say get your defenders probably a bit closer, and even if they score, get your chin up.
Fantastic, mate, brilliant. And again, that's great advice, that as well. I'm going to name drop now a goalkeeper. Remember Bruce Grobbelaar, guys, played for Liverpool. He would amazing. I remember watching his video going back many years ago now. Is basically his on his life, and he would never blame himself. It was always the defender's fault, which is brilliant. It was just an amazing way how to do it. Obviously, he was and I mean this in a very respectful way, he was a special character. Only certain people can get away with what Bruce got away with. But no, it's brilliant. What you're saying there is fantastic, Ruben. So for any young goalkeepers who are listening, when a goal goes in, goalkeepers, we automatically think it's our fault. And 99% of the time, guys, it's not. Okay, but that doesn't mean obviously we blame our defenders, we encourage, but don't think for one moment because a goal goes in that it's our fault as goalkeepers, guys. That's not the case. So Ruben, that is an amazing tip, guys. If you see me looking down to the left, I've got another laptop open here, so just looking at questions. Well, got another question here. Okay, so also this one's for Danny. So Danny, what any advice you can give for parents listening now? Again, you've got obviously a bit of an advantage because you're also a coach, but if you can just sort of take away the fact that you're a coach, could you give any advice? Because again, the majority of parents that obviously that we help with Just for Keepers, the parents that they've got no experience, they don't know anything about goalkeeping, they don't know anything about football, they're not obviously involved with the team, obviously like you are, and they feel like really like lost because goalkeeping is such a specialised position, and when their goalkeeping child's getting so much stick, so much blame, it can be frustrating, it can be scary, it can be overwhelming for a parent. So what advice could you give a parent of a goalkeeper who, again, as I say, is like really wants to help the goalkeeping child, but basically they've no idea what to do to give them help, advice, encouragement?
Bit of punching it. I think first of all, it's not one of my strong objectives, but be patient.
Okay.
You do need a lot of patience, and what we did, what I did, was before the game that Ruben said that he wanted to go in goal, I got myself quite clued up on how to do coaching as a goalkeeper. I did an online. If you go online, I don't know whereabouts people are, but if you go onto your own FA website and you do like your coaching badges, because I've got my level 1. I did an online YouTube goalkeeping like coaching. And I just got little bits of drills, didn't we? We watched the England warm up with Pickford, Ramsdale. Who was it for? It was for the World Cup, wasn't it? And honestly, all we did, I mean, Ruben, like I said, Ruben was a good rugby player. We went into the garden. It was just me and him, just having a little kickabout, we just boosted each other's confidence in him being in goal.
Okay.
And like I say, it just took off from there, really.
Brilliant. So would you encourage mums and dads, again, and obviously mums and dads are busy, I know that they can't go and take the UEFA A goalkeeping license. And again, I know we try and offer, we do offer like a ton of free help, advice and information for parents. Yeah. Is it something that you would recommend a parent to do, is just to, try and grasp even if it's the most basic of goalkeeping knowledge, so at least then, if someone is trying to, blame their goalkeeping child, at least then they've got some type of education that they can sort of say, hey, no, you're wrong there, or hey, lay off.
Yeah, I think everybody does need to realise that, like yourself, if you're not being part of football, or you haven't got any experience in watching football in the past or playing yourself, that don't always, like you've hit the nail on the head, and I did on Sunday, don't always go straight to the goalkeeper. It's never going to be their fault. They need a lot of praise, they need a lot of confidence, and they need that little bit of a G up even when a goal does go in. And then they need to realise that once the experience goes in and the kids playing football, they'll automatically assume that they have got the back, they've got in the support, whether it's the parents, supporters, or the coaches.
You froze then for a minute, Dan. So no thanks for that. Just to quickly digress as well, I don't know if Stephen Reeves is still watching. Stephen Reeves is actually a friend of mine. Actually, I was with Stephen at Everton many years ago. Stephen was an amazing goalkeeper. Actually played for England. So if Stephen, if you're still on, if you could potentially write, I know that you can't come and chat, but if you can maybe type something to give a tip for young Ruben and other young goalkeepers. Can you give a tip to help Ruben and any young goalkeepers listening, how they can achieve their dreams and maybe become a professional goalkeeper? So again, it's really good to have Stephen on here. Stephen, I said, was an amazing goalkeeper, played for England. So hopefully Stephen's still on and he can give a tip. Also as well, I'm trying to read a couple of questions for you, Dan and Ruben, from the other parents. As well, so just one here, my son is training 7 to 8 tonight, so I'm loving watching this in the warm and dry. Hey Ray, oh wow, hey Ray, you trained my 30-year-old son many moons ago. Steve, sorry, that's for me. Ange Roberts. Hi Ange, I'm guessing that's Jordan. So one of the mums have come on. I used to coach his son many years ago. He's 30 years of age now. That's Ange. I think that's Jordan Roberts. Ange is speaking about. Hope you're all well, guys. Send my love to Jordan. Yvonne Miller says, my 11-year-old son was the same. He was too shy to speak out and tell his defenders what to do. So Ruben, is a question for you. So Yvette Miller said that her son is too shy to speak out to defenders. She says that he's getting better at it now, but can you give any tips, Ruben, to a goalkeeper who's too shy to speak to goalkeepers? What tips can you give? Oh, it's Sean Parker. Sorry, Ange, it's Sean. Hope you're all well.
So, could you help? somebody who was just a bit too shy to be talking on the field?
Probably do a group hug before.
Oh, wow. Brilliant, yeah.
When you're training, probably practice so
Okay.
you can you're better in the matches.
Fantastic. So I'm going to elaborate on that, please, Ruben. So first of all, I actually think that's amazing that by giving each other a group hug before, basically what that basically does for mums and dads listening and goalkeepers listening, it gets everybody comfortable with each other. Give each other a big hug, teamwork, gets everybody comfortable with each other. As I say, so when you're comfortable with somebody, obviously you're going to be more confident to say something and not feel embarrassed, which is cool. So as basic as that tip is, that's an amazing tip. So thank you, Ruben. And also what Ruben was saying as well there, guys, as well, is just practicing training. And you don't have to start off with like loads of big words, even if you just start off with encouragements, great header. So as a goalkeeper, you can be saying to your defenders, great header, John, or fantastic slide tackle, keep up, you know what I mean? Just give encouragement. And the more encouragement you give, as I say, you get better at it. So just keep things simple. What was it? Also as well, so Dan, Ruben, I know that you had some questions to ask as well. So rather than me bombard you with questions, so guys, what is your burning questions that you would like to ask myself that will hopefully also help and inspire the mums and dads? Obviously, not only live now, but also as well, by the way, this will go on to the podcast. So literally, Ruben, the podcast over the next weeks and months and years to come will get thousands of listeners. Okay, so obviously what you're doing now is going to help a lot of goalkeepers and mums and dads. So if there's any burning questions that you'd like to ask Dan, Ruben, please fire away, and I'm positive it will help mums and dads. So sorry, Sally Nielsen says, great answer, Roo, anti-Sal. Hey. So any burning questions you got there, Dan or Ruth, please fire away.
Yeah. So what football teams have you played for in the past?
Right, you promise you will not beat me up if I tell you, Ruben.
Oh, he hasn't, has he? I hope he hasn't. He hasn't.
Can I
you
guess?
can tell by his face he has.
Man City.
Okay, actually, no, to be fair. So I played for Everton, Wigan Athletic, Plymouth Argyle, Torquay United, Chester City twice, and I had a spell on loan to Clydebank.
Oh,
so I was professional for 10 years. I thought I was getting a clap then.
No, not for Everton.
There was a little fly.
Okay, no worries.
You go
Me?
next.
What was the most goalkeeping challenge that you came up against, Ray?
For me, the biggest challenge was myself. And again, hopefully mums and dads can listen to this and hopefully we'll give them, and also goalkeepers as well. So for me, looking back in hindsight, I wish that I had somebody to teach me the confidence in myself that I've got now. And that's why with my goalkeeping schools, Just for Keepers, I'm so big on developing children's mindsets, because self-confidence is like so important. The amount of goalkeepers we've helped to become professional or gain a college scholarship in the United States, it's not necessarily the best goalkeepers, guys. It's the goalkeepers with average ability, but they become just beyond mentally strong. So for me, my biggest challenge was not believing in myself. Because when I played many, many years ago, you were either confident or you weren't confident, and there was no one like now. The footballers, which I think is right. Footballers now, obviously, they've got like a team of like psychologists helping them with their mental side of the game. We never had that. Basically, our motivational talk from our manager when we played professional: if you make that mistake again, you're getting dropped next week. That was. Yeah. And we were only young lads ourselves. I mean, I was only like 18, 19, 20, 21. So for me, my biggest challenge was, as I say, because ability-wise, as I say, I was obviously good enough to be not only professional for 1 year, for 10 years. So I had the ability, but I actually never believed. Even though I again, without name dropping, I had mentors. So I actually had like Neville Southall, who was a legend in the game. he basically said, I'm going to be the next big thing. Next, he had Peter Shilton. He actually signed me. So Peter Shilton is the most successful goalkeeper in English history. I think you might see Peter up there, Ruben. So there's Peter Shilton there. He was my manager at Plymouth Argyle. So obviously Peter Shilton, the most capped goalkeeper in English history, felt, he had a lot of confidence in me, but I never had the confidence in myself. It was a miracle that I was professional for 10 years because, I was just beyond unconfidence. I was very nervous, very scared because nobody taught me. I just wish I could go back with the mindset now when I was 20 years of age. And that's why now I think I can help so many goalkeepers, because you get goalkeeping coaches, and I hope this makes sense. And again, you'll understand this, Dan, from a coaching point of view. You get like goalkeeping coaches who are naturally confident, because a minority of people, the majority of people are born underconfident. It's only the minority that are super confident. But there's a lot of goalkeepers, ex-professional goalkeepers, who become goalkeeping coaches who are naturally confident as a youngster, and as a professional goalkeeper. But when they become a goalkeeping coach, they think everyone else thinks like them, that they're super confident, when it's the opposite. 95, 96, 97% are they're not confident. And you've got to, as a goalkeeping coach, and a coach, and an outfielding coach as well, Dan, you've got to realise that, first of all, most of the children that you're coaching are not confident. And you've got to realise that. And for me, and I think that's what's helped me develop so many goalkeepers and help them achieve their dreams, because I've been the other side. I've been scared. I've been so underconfident most of my adult career. I've had to work so hard. I've had to read so many self-education books to master my self-confidence. So when I coach a child, straight away, I'm in their shoes, because I know what it's been in terms of being underconfidence. So I start. So I don't start as a confident goalkeeping coach. I start as I remember what I was like, underconfident, and then I'll develop the goalkeeper from there. So I don't know if that's something that you see as a coach yourself, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? When you, like I say, we started playing when you guys was 5, didn't we? And it's when you've played the game for a long time, it's hard, because we found it easy. I mean, there's some things now that we're adapting to, aren't they? Like playing out from the back, don't we? Mm-hmm. So we started a drill that we're trying to play out from the back now, and what I'm trying to do to Wu is he's found it too quick that when he saves it, or he's got the ball in his hands, he can see it in his head that he just wants rid of the ball. He wants to play it long. But for us, we need to think, well, why does he want to do that? So I asked you the question, didn't I? And what did you say?
It's because they might have a better chance of scoring that the people up front.
But which is obviously what he said to me was, because if he hadn't got the ball at his end, nobody's going to score past him.
Yes. But
obviously playing out from the back, that's what we like to do, don't we? So for me, and for us, the lads that help me, it's hard. It's easy for us because we know how to play out from the back. But he just wants the pressure away from him. So we just needed to. That's what we're working on, aren't we, at the minute?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Well, to be honest with you, that's funny actually, because when I played professionally, Ruben, not me as a goal, but I was happy to do this as a goalkeeper. But the management at the time, what they used to say is you used to boot it as far as you can into the other half, because what the managers. So obviously it shows you how far football has come on in terms of technical, and this was at professional level. More or less every manager that they wouldn't want you to play out from the back. You had to boot the ball as far as you could into the other half, because what their philosophy was, if the ball was in their half, they're not going to score. So Ruben, a lot of great managers I played under, they had the same. So don't worry about that. So we just had a question coming from Judith Horner. Says, any tips, Ray, on how to build confidence in goal for an 8-year-old who is shy and quiet, self-critical? So I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to let you answer that question, Ruben. So, and also as well, Dan, you can chip in if need be. So Ruben, Any advice that you can give to help because if I remember, you're 8 years old. You're 8 years eight. Put my teeth back in. You're 8 years old, aren't you, Ruben?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So you got someone. So Judith Horner. So it's I think it's her son. So someone your age, Ruben. What tips can you give a fellow goalkeeper your age? Actually, it could be your competition, and you could be playing against them at the weekend. So maybe you might not want to give them the tips. But yeah. So what tips can you give a fellow goalkeeper your age on how they can build confidence in goal and not be shy?
When they go to if they do training, probably ask their coach and tell them that I want to get better at speaking from the back.
Okay, fantastic. I know that's amazing, Ruben, for an 8-year-old to mention that. So, Dan, as a coach, if your goalkeeper, again, believe it or not, you do get some coaches that don't listen to goalkeepers, as I say, and even though like a goalkeeper who's played, let's say a goalkeeper started in goal when they're 6, and a coach has never played in goal in their life. No, this sounds crazy. A goalkeeper who's been playing in goal since he was 6, and he played in goal for like 2 or 3 years. You know, they've probably got a better gut feeling how to play in goal than the coach, if that makes sense. But on what Ruben was saying there, Dan, as a coach, so forgetting you're the parent for now, if your goalkeeper, obviously Ruben, came up with that amazing thing and said, Coach Dan, this is what I want to do to improve my communication and confidence. As a coach, what would you, one, be saying to Ruben, and 2, how would you implement that into the team?
I think Ru hit it on the nail on the head earlier. We do, and it helps a lot of people. And the answer that you gave, Ray, was just a little group cuddle at the. We say our parts. I say my part as a parent. I say my part as a coach, and my mates, they have their input as well. But I also think it's important that what we've done previously on the training session, what we spoke about, is that them guys go and do a little group huddle, talk to each other, and I think once they've all had their part in a share of what they've spoken about, that's helped them, because they've, like we've all said, talking on a football field with each other, it just lifts that morale a little bit, and it just gains them a bit of confidence of, they can talk to each other.
Yes. I mean, what you're saying, again, I'm not just saying it because we're speaking there, Dan. I think the way you and your fellow coaches are running a team is amazing, because, again, obviously, I know that as a team that you obviously just want to win, etc. But I think what I'm hearing from yourself, Dan, is that you and your fellow coaches is more, first and foremost, more about the well-being of your players. Making sure that, as I say, you're building the confidence, they feel part of the team, and then when you do that, when they're feeling good about themselves, when they know that they're not going to get shouted at, or if they make a mistake, it's going to be like constructive. It's not going to be yelling and shouting. I just wish more. Don't get me wrong, it's getting a lot better. I mean, dear me, when I first started doing this 20 years ago, the amount of times I wanted to jump in a car, drive across the UK and go and have a confrontation with the coach, the way they were speaking to the parents and the children, But thankfully it's getting much, much better. And I think, and I'm hoping if there's any coaches who are running a team, I hope they're taking note of what you and your coaches are doing, because I think it's absolutely fantastic, putting the children's mindset and obviously, welfare first, because the rest will take care of itself then once you do that. Because a lot of coaches, again, I might not word this correctly, Dan, but a lot of coaches think, right, if we win first, the confidence, self-esteem, if we win first, and then they put all the emphasis on winning, well, all the confidence and the self-esteem will come second. And I think it's the other way around. No, build a confidence with words and kindness and love, build that self-esteem and confidence, and then the winning will start coming. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, because we've funny enough, we're in a position where our team, our kids, our children have been absolutely brilliant set of kids. It's a brilliant team to manage. Parents are brilliant. We haven't won that many games since we started, but it's never once bothered the kids.
Brilliant.
But now we're kind of getting to a stage now where the confidence, the knowledge, it's growing as a team, and we're on the back end of that now, where we're actually developing wins in the games, and things are starting to click. Like, you know, we've got a good span in our team now. We're playing out from the back. The passes are good, communication's good. The talking to each other's good. The fighting, the battling, and then at the end of it, like you've just said, you enjoy a win at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's funny as you were saying that there, Dan. I used to play as a youngster. So I think I started playing for the team called Church in Liverpool, England. Obviously, that's for the guys who are listening and around the world. Like obviously we've got people from South Africa and Canada listening. And for the first 2 seasons, honestly, I'd come home to my mum and she'd go, you know, after we used to play every Sunday. And my mum would say, "How did you get on?" I go, "We only got beat 8-0." You know, that was like a result for us. You know what I mean? So for the first 2 years, but actually, my dad was part of the team, and he was a guy. I forgot the name of the manager. And I remember his son also played for the team. His son was called Keith Finnegan, who went to school with me. And then what happened then is we changed the name to the Annie. And there was nothing to do with the name. There wasn't to do with the changing of the name. It was to do with that. I think. My father and Keith's dad, and there's another guy, I can't remember his name now, similar to what you're doing with what you've done with your team, Dan, and your coaches. And actually went on for about 5 years, up until we were 16. We won the double like every year from being a team, like more or less the same team, from getting like 10, 12, 15, 20 put past us to literally winning the treble. And I think from that team, there was no, I think there was 2 or 3 players went professional. With myself, a guy called Kenny Hines, played for Tranmere Rovers, had an amazing career. You know, so again, you know, you just got a happy memory there. So again, we followed something similar. But guys, what I'm going to do, we're going to finish in about 5 or 6 minutes because I don't want to go too late because obviously we've got children on. So guys, before Ruben and Danny finish, if you've got any more questions, please, that'll be fantastic. And Dan, Ruben, if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask as well before we go, I'm going to see if there's any questions. I just want to look in the questions box, Dan and Ruben, for yourselves first. 1 second. Okay. So so again, we've got a question here. Says, okay. So a question from Sally Nielsen.
Oh,
okay,
no. Yeah. The docs.
Right, here we go. It's a good question, though. Don't worry. It says, what was the best save you made, Rue?
It's the ones probably when I come out and sweep up the ball and then either roll it to the defenders near me if they're not marked, or just boot it up really quickly.
Fantastic, man. Good answer. It's a really good question as well. Okay, but I'm going to read this properly. Okay, have you got any tips on how to save penalties?
No.
I'm not a good one on penalties, but it's when whatever angle they're kicking it at, just wait for the ball to go, and whichever way it goes from, like, where you're looking, just quickly dive or stay in that place.
Fantastic, Ruben. Well, here's the tip. Here's the tip as well that we tell our students. If you're a young goalkeeper still playing in the small goals, obviously like yourself, Ruben, what we tend to find is that the majority of penalty takers. So if you're a goalkeeper and you are facing the goalkeeper and they're a right footer, the majority of the time the goalkeeper, the penalty taker will go to the right. And if they're a left footer, they'll go to your left. And that's because at that age, the penalty taker, because it's so again, Dan, you'll be able to explain this more to Ruben. At a young age, most penalty takers, you know yourself as an 8-year-old penalty taker, if they're a right footer, it's easier for them to put it in the right hand corner of the goalkeeper because it's a lot more skill to open up the body and put it in the other corner, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So at a younger age, and this is statistically, Obviously, the older the players get, they get more skilled, and they can then open the body. And if they're right-footed, they can put it in the opposite corner. But as a rule of thumb, most penalty takers in the small sided goals, if they're a right-footed kicker, again, if I'm facing them, okay, so hopefully I'm saying this right. If I'm facing them as the goalkeeper, a right footer will put it to my right, a left footer will put it to my left. So there's just some tips for you there as well, guys. And that worked remarkably well for most of our students. And the ones who never worked for, we used to give us some sticks. So, so another question here. Okay, one sec. Okay, oh, what a question! So Yvette Miller asked you asked another question for you, Ruben. So you're being a superstar. So Yvette Miller says, "My son asked, are there any goalkeepers that inspire you?"
Oh, get this answer right.
Peter Schmeichel,
Wow.
Jordan Pickford, Ramsdale, Anana, and David De Gea.
Fantastic. Wow, that's a good selection of goalkeepers, and you remembered every one of them. Well, yeah, so you get a lot of goalkeepers your age, Ruben. You only like one goalkeeper, which is normally the goalkeeper of their favourite professional football club. And also, so that's brilliant that you like multiple goalkeepers. Because I wouldn't say this is a mistake, guys, but a lot of goalkeepers, young and old, they'll follow their favourite goalkeeper. Like I say, it's normally the goalkeeper that plays for their local professional football club, and they try and emulate their goalkeeper. But the problem is, if their goalkeeper's like 6'6" and they're only going to be 5'11", it can be completely different techniques. Or if they're going to be 6'6" as an adult and their favourite goalkeeper is only 5'11", there's just like that. Those different heights and different shapes can have a big effect. So I think it's really good what you're doing. I mean, it's actually amazing what you're doing, Ruben. You're best actually trying to get the best bits out of several goalkeepers and then put it into your game rather than just one goalkeeper. Because if that goalkeeper is not the same size and shape as you, or what you're going to be when you're an adult, these can be, again, I don't want to go into too much technical, but you're better. So any young goalkeepers listening to what Ruben was saying there, that's amazing advice from Ruben. Try and follow and emulate, a few professional goalkeepers, not just one. Okay, and so Chloe Masters has just come in. Okay, and it says, and another question for you, Ruben.
That's my sister.
Oh, is it your sister? Okay, so your sister said, "Where have you hid the chocolate?" Is that right? Oh, he's looked. Okay. So, Chloe says, "What's your favorite thing about being a goalkeeper, Ruben?"
Probably because if your team didn't have one and you was playing a really good team and you didn't have much good players, you're probably saving all the goals.
Okay, fantastic. So brilliant. It's always good to be the hero, isn't it?
That's basically yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So what we're going to do, so guys, we're going to sort of wrap up because I don't want this to go too late. Obviously, with young children on. So we're going to have 2 questions to finish. One's going to be from yourself, Dan, and actually, it's not going to be questions. Sorry, Dan. I do apologise. So Dan, actually, sorry. Next question. Actually, no, I'll let you go first, Dan. Give Ruben a chance to think. So, Dan, the question for you is there any advice that you can, that you can give parents of goalkeepers to make sure that it's the best, pleasant experience? What can the parents listening? What can they do to help their goalkeeping child to make sure it's the best experience possible with as little pressure on them as possible?
I think what we've done so far has took off. First of all, Ruben going in goal from outfield just took a lot of pressure off us as a coach, father, and a son, because he's took on board. He's done this himself. But in the mix of that, we go to what we have in Hull called the Youth Player Development, YPD, and they do goalkeeping and outfield. And I take him there. I don't say anything to him. I don't ask him to do anything. He goes off to the goalkeeper coaches. He meets new kids who are also goalkeepers. He does it for an hour. He comes back, and that's him done. And it's when we talk about confidence and knowledge, he's been doing that, and it's massively worked for him. There's nothing from me. He goes off and does it on his own. I take him. I watch him. I don't ask him to do anything. No strict instructions. There's no coach there. It's just me being a dad, him going, and he comes home and he loves it, don't you? So that's a massive shout out to if anybody from YPD is watching. The confidence that's instilled in it at the minute has been absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant, Dan. And also as well, Dan, I say what you're saying there as well is like sometimes as parents we've got to let go and trust them. Trust our child with other coaches and other children, because again, sometimes we can be. Again, I'm guilty of this, you know what I mean? I think most parents are, and there's nothing wrong with this because we want the best for our children. But sometimes we can be a bit too overprotective, and sometimes we need to just let them go and express themselves.
What did you achieve the other day from YPD? You went on where did you go? Tell me where you went.
So on
Monday,
I went to a YPD day for goalkeeping. And at the end, when I was doing it, I played against people twice of my age. And for doing that, I did hurt my arm a lot. For that, at the end, we got medals, high fives. But from each group, because there's the younger group, the outfield group, the older group, and the goalkeeper group, every coach that coaches that group chooses a player that did good for them, and then so I got chose for the goalkeeper one.
Fantastic, Ruben. Well done, young man. Brilliant. Well, I've got a question, but this might be a bit of a tricky question for you, Ruben, and then your dad can help if need be. So, Ruben, I know that you've given advice to goalkeepers. So, Ruben, what advice can you give to mums and dads of other goalkeepers? Okay, so they can help their goalkeeping child. So, again, Dan, you need help from your dad.
Yeah.
So, if the dad is a coach, probably ask them to go into the garden or somewhere or a field to go train and take a net on a ball and your gloves and practice.
See, was it anymore? What about like if you was during the game? So what could you say to the parents when their child or daughter's playing in goal?
Work hard and don't put your chin down if they score.
Fantastic. Last question, guys, and it's sort of similar to what I've already just asked Ruben, but this question's now for both of you. Okay, yeah. So again, advice for mums and dads and goalkeepers listening: how should the parents? How shall I word this? How can parents and the goalkeeping child, how are they best working together in terms of communicating with each other? So the parents is helping the child, and then the child can also know that they can reach out to their parents without getting told off or knowing it's going to be positive. I don't know if I've asked that makes sense. But if you can give any advice there, guys, how you both interact as father and child, as parents and goalkeeper, what advice can you give to parents? How you work together to sort of help each other? Because obviously, Dan, you're helping. You're helping your son, Ruben, but also as well, especially as Ruben gets older, he'll need to ask certain questions so he can let you know how he feels, so you can then help and advise him again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. To be fair, I think what I do and what Ruben does is Ruben's a massive gamer as well. He likes your PS5, he likes online gaming. And if I do too much with him, I know when his limits are, he starts switching off, and it's like you can automatically start thinking, oh God, I just can't wait till it's over. I just want to go online. So all we started doing was asking each other, if you give me, I said to him, it's a bit of a deal. I said, if you give me half an hour on the field or watching YouTube, watching Schmeichel or in the garden, and the payback for that, you can have an hour on your PlayStation. And then that's it, it's done.
Brilliant.
And it took us a long time to get there, didn't it? Because it was all like, when he played outfield, I felt like I was having to drill far too much knowledge into him at such a young age, because I knew what he was capable of.
Yeah.
But now that he's in goal and he's made this his own, it's almost like, well, when we're having our tea, it might be like, right, we'll watch 20 minutes of the England goalkeeping setup, but then that's it, it's over and done with. So it's just little bits, but on a consistent basis. And
Brilliant.
It's like that is, I think that's helped us massively, hasn't it? Instead of giving you loads and loads.
Well, I think that's a fantastic tip to end, Dan, because for mums and dads to say, listening to that as well, as I say, what Dan's saying there is like, it's not all the time. It's about communicating, obviously, with each other as well. That's also as well, again, what Dan's making, making sure that obviously Ruben has time to do other things that he likes as well. So again, I know obviously Ruben likes his gaming, like my daughter. But again, anyone listening, their goalkeeping child could be something else. They could enjoy martial arts, it could be music, etc. So I think it's what Dan's saying there, which is super, super important. Yeah, I know that your goalkeeping child might be crazy about goalkeeping, and you might be crazy about football, but it's still important to make sure that they take time out to go and enjoy other things that they enjoy doing, whether it's music, as I say, martial arts or something like that. So guys, I'm gonna be saying goodbye to Ruben and Dan in a minute, but before I do, can I just have some appreciation, please, in the chat box, obviously, because obviously Dan. So let's have some thank yous for Dan and for Ruben, obviously, because they've took time out of their night to give us some fantastic advice. That'd be much appreciated. So thanks, guys. What someone says, fabulous.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Well done, Ruben. Brilliant, Roo. Okay, yeah. So obviously there's a bit of a delay with the chat box. So there's still quite a lot of people on. Am I doing this over the chat box? Oh, sorry, I'm not looking at the chat box properly. Sorry, schoolboy error by me. So thank you guys for the comments. Obviously we've got let's say we've got, sorry, it's all flying in now. Ruben, we got Becky Brown. Well done, boys. Yvette Miller. Well done and thank you. Really helpful. Sally Nielsen again. Congrats, Ray. A great success. Well done, Dan and Ruben. You all did great. I think Ruben was the star, though. I think, guys. Yeah. I think me and Dan. Ruben carried me and Dan there, guys. Me and Dan were struggling all the way. Matthew Collison says, "Well done, you two." Sue Brown says, "So, do you know Matthew? Yeah, cool."
Yeah.
We've got obviously Chloe Masters, Dad and Roo. I'm so proud of you. Absolutely amazing. We've got Denton from South Africa says, "Well done and thanks so much to you both." Got Steve Cousins, great, all three of you. Our pleasure. Helen Troughton, well done, you both. And they've got a little goalkeeping glove doing that, Ruben. Kelly Hopwell, well done. Great seeing Ruben in the Premier League. Brilliant. Well, playing for Manchester City. Okay, I'm not too sure about that. Yeah.
I'm going to check that after.
Don't. What is it? Okay, so guys, brilliant. Okay, we've got a few more in. So we've got Craig Owen. Hi, Craig. So Craig's an amazing guy, by the way. I know Craig very well. He's always there to help others. So Craig Owen saying, "Well done, Ruben and Dan. Well done, Ruben and Dan. Keepers Union, all the very best."
Thank you.
Yeah. So they are coming in, guys. It's just a bit of a delay how they're coming in. But as I say, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up now because I don't want to go on too late because obviously the age of the keepers that are on. But all that leaves me to say is, Ruben, Dan, 1,000 thanks for sharing your father and son experience. I promise you guys, you've really helped a lot of mums and dads and goalkeepers today, but it's not just today, guys, okay? Because this will go onto YouTube for many months and years. It'll go into the podcast for many months and years. So I promise you, what you two have done tonight will help goalkeepers next week, next year, and even 10 years from now. So I want to say,
on YouTube.
yeah, gonna make you a superstar, mate. Yeah.
So you've got your TikTok account. Tell me what account you've got already.
I've got a TikTok account already. I don't know how much likes I've got, and
Okay.
I've also
We're just spotting flies at the minute.
and
Got good reactions anyway.
a
Instagram.
Instagram account.
Okay. Well,
Whenever we play or he goes to YPD, Mum sits there on a Sunday morning video with his saves. Then at the end of the game, we tally them all together and we make like a little video and we'll put them on TikTok and put them on Instagram for him.
fantastic. Well, that's something you can always look back at as well, Dan. I mean,
that was the idea. It was something so that when he gets, as the older he gets, he can look back onto it.
someone's saying here, Yvette Miller, if you don't mind sharing this, Ruben, Dan, what is your Instagram account? So you won't follow us already. So I'm not too sure. Can you write in the comments box, can you, Dan?
No, I don't know.
No, you might not be able to.
I know how to.
Oh, full.
No, press escape to and then exit full screen and then
Exit full screen. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we can do. So
The 8-year-olds are telling the dads how to do technology. Brilliant. So Yvette, that's a great question. So Dan is going to hopefully be able to put Ruben's Instagram into the comments box.
My goalkeeper journey.
That's a good name, My Goalkeeper Journey. Brilliant.
Mum's done it already. She was faster than us.
Well done, Becky. Well done for the mums. But also as well, guys, I'll figure out how to do it at some point tomorrow. But apparently, what can happen is this live webinar that we've done. Once it's saved, I can do something with it, and it actually breaks it all up into like 30-second segments. So once I figure out how to do that, I can possibly send them to you guys, and you can use those 30 seconds. So basically, it'll be like 30 seconds clips of this webinar, and you can put that on your Instagram as well.
Can we follow this, Ray, as well?
Follow just the keepers or follow the webinar?
Yeah. So when this is finished, can we send the link onto other socials? Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened? Well, what I'm hoping is going to happen, Dan. So once we end the webinar, it should automatically save to this new software that I've got. And then once I've got that, I can then upload it to the likes of YouTube. I might be able to then send you the video file. But if not, worst case scenario, I'll be able to send you the YouTube link. And the software out there now, the 8-year-olds will know how to do it. I don't, and you probably don't either, Dan, but the 8-year-olds, there'll be a software where once you've got the YouTube link, you'll be able to download it.
Right. Wait, if you're posting it onto YouTube, does that mean I might be able to watch it on my TV?
You certainly can. You will be a legend on your own TV. How cool is that? And what you can do, Ruben, you can don't tell your friends. Bring them all around to your house. And then while they're all there, just put it onto YouTube, and they'll all see you on YouTube. You can go, oh, well, I didn't know I was on YouTube. Yeah, I'm famous. Yeah.
You're sending it to school as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm sending it to my school.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure your friends and your school teachers will be very, very proud of all the help and advice you've given. Not only fellow goalkeepers, Ruben, but you've helped a lot of mums and dads tonight, and also for many months and years to come as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, guys, I love you and leave you. It's been fantastic. What was it? Oh, sorry, Becky Brown. So that's your mum. She's actually now watching you live on YouTube.
I'm going to
so what's on YouTube? So fantastic. So guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. I don't want to go on too late tonight, as I say. But again, 1,000 thanks, Dan. Ruben, 1,000 thanks to you, young man. Honestly, the way you've answered your questions tonight, I'm sure your mum and dad are very proud of you. And I've been doing this for over 20 years now. And honestly, there's not many 8-year-olds I've come across who speak as confident in yourself. And that's obviously credit to your parents, to the way your club is helping you as well. So I'm also very, very proud of you as well, young man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay then,
Thank
guys.
you.
We have
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey.
He's still on. He's still on. He's still on.
I'm a